In the professional world, it seems like everything is all about the bottom line or how much money you can make off of something, how profitable it is, how productive you are. And I think that's really sad because for whatever reason, whenever we become adults, it seems like we have to stop messing around. We can't have fun anymore. You can't experiment. And that's something that's really been bothering me recently because I do a lot of tech reviews, and a lot of times I can get so lost in just getting the review done and making sure I test everything out and figure everything out about it as fast as I can. And I just lose the ability to actually enjoy the process and to learn new things as well. So, what I mean by this is whenever I'm doing video editing, I've used Final Cut Pro for 7 or 8 years now. It's been a really long time. But I really wish I could take the time to learn DaVinci Resolve and learn some other third party video editing software. I've also been testing out Riverside recently, and it's really cool, but I just never feel like I can really dive into software and just learn new things about it. Or let's say on Final Cut, I have ways I've done things for years. And so I rarely even take the time to actually experiment with something just for the sake of learning something new. So pretty much everything just ends up as how can I get this video edited faster? And if something has to do with workflow or productivity, then I take the time to figure it out. But otherwise, I just don't take the time to play as much as I did when I was younger. And I think that's really the sad thing about becoming an adult is we start to have more things that we can mess around with, but we just get so consumed with consumption. So we want to be productive, we want to buy more, we want to have more money, and we rarely actually take the time to learn how to use the things that we already have. So a couple months ago, I got really dissatisfied with my microphone sound. I was using the Audio Technica AT875R. I've used it for tons of videos, and I was just not happy with the sound out of it. I was really noticing a lot of high end noise on it, and I just wasn't a fan of that. So I'd heard of the Sennheiser MKH50 microphone for a while, and I'd really wanted it. So I decided to invest in it. And I love the sound of that microphone. I've got some great results out of it. But recently, I haven't been super happy with the sound that I was getting out of the microphone. And one day it occurred to me that I just have too much echo in my studio. And instead of actually taking the time a couple months ago to maybe figure out how to muffle the sound of the room a little bit, figure out how to deaden the room, I just got so consumed with the act of creating videos and just getting more content out. So I would try to fix it in post, try to use denoise, stuff like that that just doesn't really sound that great. I've also used the Adobe Speech Enhance a couple times. That didn't sound super great either. It just has kind of a strange hollow sound sometimes, or it can sound kind of fake to me. So the point I'm trying to make is I spent so much time just obsessed with how I can get more videos out that I forgot to take the time to actually stop, experiment, evaluate, and just to get the best result possible. And I think that's the fun thing about play and experimentation is you can learn so much whenever you don't have deadlines to get done or whenever it's not just all about the bottom line. So my challenge to think about is I know there's been a ton of sales going on lately. There's a ton of gear that's out there for really good prices right now, whether you're talking computer gear, camera gear, tech gear, it's all out there for a great price. But what I've been really trying to do is actually to experiment with some of the things I already have and figure out how I can adjust mic placement, lighting placement. I got a couple sound blankets to move around the room a little bit. So instead of putting all my learning into buying products or just to whatever companies are sending to me, I've thought I need to be a little bit more intentional with my learning, with my play to figure out the best setups possible to adjust things. So I've been messing with rigging up a camera overhead for some of my videos, my lighting placement where I can fill the side of my face in a little bit better, how to better light product on a desk. I'm trying this black desk right now. Not really sure if I like the look of it, but I'm just experimenting with stuff instead of doing the same copy paste formula every time, just taking a little bit more time to mess around with things. So my challenge for you is to think about your work or your home life or really whatever you do, whether it's professionally or for your enjoyment, and figure out how you can put a little bit more experimentation into it. Just toy around with stuff a little bit to figure out better options than you've been using. So instead of doing stuff the way you've always done it, change it up a little bit. Use a different setup than you had before, or just move things around a little bit. Try a new angle if you're shooting video, or if you're using software, then try to find a new feature. Watch a tutorial on the internet. There's so many great tutorials about software from Photoshop to Final Cut Pro. DaVinci Resolve is also taking off as well. And go out there because there's a lot of people who have made really great content that you can use to learn, to experiment instead of just worrying about the final outcome. So leave a comment down below if this resonated with you. Let me know how you're going to experiment a little bit more in your life.